Oi, this is the Profanity Gnome, and I'm here to tell you that if you're under 13 years old, fuck off this video! Get the fuck off YouTube! Get your mama to get your dad's cock out of her ears and actually be a parent! This is for adults only! And for everybody else, enjoy the video. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below what you think, you fuck buckets!
Wow, I haven't seen Jen so excited in a while. Yes, it's not often that the young master gets to mix his family life with his work. And this is one of the few exceptions that he gets a chance to go home. But why doesn't he just come home every now and again? Our life just keeps us at sea for so long. It didn't always used to be like this. He's matured very greatly, though. What was he like? Oh, right, I forgot. You weren't with us at the beginning of the journey. Well, it all started long ago.
Today's the day! Today's the day! Today's the day! Today's the day! Someone's excited.
You better quiet down before I give him something to really scream about.
Oh my.
Today's the day!
What? Oh, yes it is, Master Gent.
Today's the day, wacko!
What day is that, Gent?
Today, Skippy's coming home from his 7 tours! I'm getting my best friend back! And I told him that we were all going to meet him in front of the docks!
But wait, I thought Mom and Dad wanted us to do that one promotional opening.
Nah, I'm sure Mom and Dad will understand. After all, Aunt Slappy ain't even going to be able to visit because she threw her hip out while judo kicking that one guy. So, this is episode 1 of Animaniacs 2020. Ah, yes. Animaniacs 2020. I've been keeping my thoughts uncharacteristically quiet about this until I gathered them all together, so I wouldn't have to be fighting my nostalgia for the old show, in favor of looking at this from both an objective and a personal point of view. So, sorry for the long wait, but here we are. At long last, after 20 long years, the Animaniacs finally return to the small screen. Smaller than ever since it fits in your pocket, and that's where most people are watching this show anyway. This first segment I don't really have too many thoughts about. It's just them showing off that they're a reboot. That the show's being redone, aka nothing but trailer fodder. It's cute, it's humorous, it's downright hilarious in some cases. It is the perfect opening for a show just like Animaniacs, especially after such a long time. Don't really have too much of a thought since it's nothing but a literal trailer. We all seen it. We all know it. So, without further ado, let's cut to the theme song. I have some thoughts. Well, when the trailers first came out, and all the promotional material was being showcased, I noticed some common themes among them. One, it showed nothing but the Warners and the sisters, as well as Pinky and the Brain. But there was no mention of any of the other cartoons that they make up the Animaniacs. Only the Warners and Pinky and the Brain. No Slappy, no Buttons and Mindy, no Goodfeathers, no Hip Hop Hippos. Hell, I didn't even see any promotions for Mr. Skullhead. And I also noticed a distinct absence of Dr. Scratch and Sniff, as well as Hello Nurse, key players in the Warner's repertoire. And while the theme song is just as catchy as it once was, with a few noticeable lyric changes to update itself, it all but confirmed my worst fears. They are nowhere to be seen in it. Pinky and the Brain is there, but every other instance where they could have been singing about another one of their characters, it's nothing more than a promotion that they're back, they're new, they may be improved, and it's just going to be the Warners and Pinky and the Brain. Sadly, I will miss the old cast, but let's see if a show just based on the Warners and Pinky and the Brain can actually hold its own for at least 13 episodes. One thing I will have to say is that the animation, while a lot more fluid and hyper than the old show, feels weird to me. Anybody else just feel off? Anybody else? Or is it just me? It might just be a personal thing, but the animation feels off. Not bad by any sense of the word, just off. Maybe it's just me, though. That's just me. Now it's time to cut to the first real episode of the Animaniacs.
If you don't mind me asking, Master Gent, shouldn't there be more people?
I'm sure they're only held up in traffic.
Commando! Over here!
Gent? You son of a bitch, it's been forever! How have you...
Oh, I missed you!
Yeah, and I miss having my spine intact. Welcome back, Master Squirrel. I have taken the liberty of writing up your itinerary for all possible events of the evening. In celebration of your turn, I have made reservations at the finest restaurant in town, where, before then, we will get you steam-pressed and ready in the most expensive of wardrobes, and then afterwards we shall proceed to, or you know what? Just do whatever you want.
Woohoo! Cartoon party at Cartoon Saloon! Now it's time to cut to the first real episode of the Animaniacs. The Warners approach Warner Studio after such a long time away. They do a small little bit about their first lines having to be meaningful, impactful, and they shouldn't be wasted. So naturally, 2 out of the 3 waste theirs immediately, but Dot still's got it. But then, they see beyond the sunrise, in plain view, their old Warner Tower. Though this does beg the question, if they weren't staying at home, where have they been? Never addressed. But I guess it doesn't have to be addressed. That's a nitpick at best. So after plowing their way through a bunch of random cameos of Warner Media ownership, they jump head first into their Warner Tower, where there seems to be a elaborate security grid that Wacko triggers right off the bat. But it seems pretty lazy. And who do we know that's lazy, incompetent? Why, the security guard! Yep, one of the staples of the old show has returned. And he looks less blue than ever. Mostly because he's wearing gray now. But, from his showcase, you notice that much has changed. His technology for capturing the Warners has updated. Unfortunately, he hasn't improved, only his technology. We then cut to more changes as we see the new CEO. Goodbye, Mr. What's-His-Face, who was short, bald, and only cared about money. Hello, strong female CEO, who is also a black woman who don't need no man. And she is introduced to the Warners, and she introduces them to all the knowledge that they have missed through one easily swallowable tablet. Yakko is the first one to eat it, which even the show points out that Wacko should be the one to eat it. And then, through the connection, is able to download all of the history that they've missed from point A to point B. It's overloaded his brain a bit, but he's able to process his information, and, of course, begins their sing-alongs. Oh, how I've missed their sing-alongs. Now, the song, like most of the jokes so far, is just a montage of everything, and I mean everything, the Warners have missed during the 20-some-odd years they've been absent. From the stock market crash, to Facebook's toxicity, to making metaphors to the glass ceiling, as well as metaphors for Russian bots, the presidential election, and future events that they couldn't possibly predict because the show only started producing in 2018. And now that it's 2020, they have no idea what's going on. But oh, what they could do with that information. Anyway, it all concludes with memorabilia, especially Saxophone Guy returning, and the Broadway-style musical of them saying they're back, and better than ever. But I will say this. As far as the show goes so far, it's been nothing but just references that they're a reboot, but I suppose they're allowed to get away with that just for the first episode. I just hope it doesn't become a recurring theme that they are just a reboot of an old show. Which, that in and of itself isn't a joke. It's just a reference. And references, when played out too much, aren't funny. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see where the show takes us.
You know what? Yes, I definitely needed this.
You see, all my ideas are so good.
What about the time you thought you could make a feather fall faster by duct taping a bowling ball to it, and it fell right on Dr. Scratch and Sniffy's head?
That was science, man. Science.
I'm just so happy that I get one night of this, and then I know tomorrow I'm gonna have to job hunt. Here's the security guard work, I guess.
You know, you should come work for me. You should come work for me forever. We do this every night.
But what would we even do? What would we do?
We would get a whole bunch of friends, and then we go from place to place all over the world. And then we make more friends and help people out and have fun and make fun of people. We do everything and make everyone a friend.
You mean that internet thing you were talking about since you were like 9?
Yeah, we'll be famous the whole world over. We'll be way bigger than what even my brothers and sister did.
I don't know. It's just that. The world is much harder than that.
It'd be great.
Here it is, boys and girls. The thing you've all been waiting for. The Pinky and the Brain. With an updated intro, they themselves seems to have drastically improved. Brain looks more menacing than ever with their new theme song. And I gotta give props to the 3D animation department for that. But the segment with Pinky and the Brain starts off in 1998, the year the show ended. Pinky is busy watching America's Funniest Home Videos, and Brain is disapproving of Pinky wasting time. Pinky, however, still watches the show because it's his favorite show. And Brain seems to be inspired by it. He comes up with a brilliant new plan of giving everyone a tiny TV to put in their pocket. So, over the course of the several long decades of work, research, and development, he brought forth new life in technology. That's right. Brain invented the internet. Oh, that is the most evil thing I've ever seen him do. Like, forget any other plan. He's already conquered the world. He's successfully made the world stupider. Conquering the world for him now should be a breeze. So, what's his evil plan of inventing the internet for? Well, Brain unfortunately goes back to his older tactics. His evil plan this time is to make himself a viral sensation, but have a filter that he specially programmed to hypnotize people into wanting to take over the world. So he's going to take over the world through a classic hypnosis strategy via him becoming a viral sensation. Good luck with that, Brain. Good luck. Well, he's going to need more than luck, because his first attempt met with the usual results. It didn't work. And Brain is very displeased by it. I mean, how could it not work? Brain, I could probably give you some pointers. Don't expect your first video ever to be the $1 million hit. That's not how the internet works. And for someone who invented the internet, you definitely don't know how social media works, do ya? Well, when Brain loses out to a opera-singing cat, Brain is royally pissed, but accidentally gets his tail caught in a spinning globe and gets repeatedly hit in the face by a 3D model of Mount Rushmore and the Himalayas. And let's not forget Mount Everest. So after being that painful in destruction of his body, he decides to give up. But, unbeknownst to him, Pinky recorded the video, put the filter on it, and it became a viral sensation. Who would have thunk? So, with Pinky's first attempt, he managed to do it. He hypnotized the world, and the world now obeys the Brain. Brain finally did it. After all these long years and careful planning, he's successfully taken over the world. Congrats, Brain! Congrats! Unfortunately, it's ruined by Pinky once again, for Pinky installed the same filter on another video, except this time with a talking dog. Well, you were ruler of the world for about 30 seconds, which, to be fair, beats Starscream's best time ruling the Decepticons. So, they go back in their traditional fashion of preparing for tomorrow night. What are they gonna do tomorrow night? You guessed it. Take over the world.
Okay, Master Gent, it seems you've officially partied out.
No, I can still go. I can be the designated driver to adventure!
Yes, of course. Of course, but even a good adventurer needs to know when to get some rest. And you want to be the greatest adventurer of all, don't you?
Yeah, we'll be adventuring with everybody in the world. Yeah, it'll be fun, it'll be great, we'll be famous the world over. Everyone will know our names, and maybe Mom and Dad will finally like me.
Doesn't hurt me. You wanna feel how it feels. You wanna know that it doesn't hurt me. You wanna hear about the deal I'm making.
No more. Yes, I'm looking to inquire on cheap boat charters.
So we got the last few minutes of the episode left before everything closes out. How are they going to end the first episode? Why, how about another nostalgia trip through a song? That's right. the Warners begin to sing once again about reboots. How reboots are taking over and how much of a sellout reboots actually are. And they showcase a lot of examples of all different kinds of reboots. From Fuller House, X-Files, That's So Raven, DuckTales, Looney Tunes, and of course mocking the superheroes. It's fun, catchy, though admittedly no singing all the countries of the world or even singing about the states and all the capital cities in those states. But it's good for what it's worth. Though, with all the reboot jokes that they've already stated, it kind of feels meh. Like, maybe if they haven't played the "we're an actual reboot of an old TV show" card so many times over already, maybe it might have had a bigger impact on me. I don't know. But there is one thing I need to state. Well, I'm not sure if it's the Animaniacs' fault or somebody pulling the strings up from higher up, but we got a very taboo scene in this song. One that a lot of people, and myself included, take a bit of an issue with. A scene of Johnny Depp telling lies scene. So, let me get this straight. No one thought that this joke might be in a little bit too much bad taste? No one thought that this feels more like Family Guy nutshot humor as opposed to Animaniacs' higher standards? Okay, well, this is a topic I never thought I'd be talking about. To cut a long story short, because I really don't want to get into this discussion, abuse, especially in a relationship, is never a joke, and never something to be made light of. True that South Park and Family Guy and The Simpsons have all made jokes about physical and emotional abuse in their relationships, but would you really call those shows good taste? I would think not. Animaniacs I've always held to a much more higher standard. So for Warner Brothers to put a scene like this into the Animaniacs reboot and not think that there wouldn't be a backlash of some kind for it is just stupid on their part. But given how devastating their cinematic universe with DC is, it seems to be a cultural trademark of them now. But regardless, that was just in very, very poor taste, and something I really don't want to discuss on this channel. And I hope to never again. And so this episode of the Animaniacs ends with them saying that reboots are a product of a society that has no creativity while making jokes about them selling out to Hulu. Another trailer fodder pick. Yeah, that's the first episode. So that was the first episode of Animaniacs 2020. What are my thoughts? Well, they kind of overplayed the "we're a reboot show" card a little bit too often. And while, yes, I expected them to play that card a few times, because, you know, Animaniacs, of course they're going to play that card, they kind of relied on it in this episode a little bit too much. And though they didn't do too terrible on the jokes this episode, just repeating that one joke over and over again, just in different ways, isn't much of a variety. With that being said, Pinky and the Brain were in top form. This is what I come to expect. They played around with it a little bit better in Pinky and the Brain, at least giving a reason for what Pinky and the Brain were doing in the 20 years they've been gone. They've been slowly manipulating and controlling the world, only for them to trip up right at the very end. That's gotta be nauseating for poor Brain. But hey, if it ever gets out that he was the one to take over the internet, he could copyright that shit, control the flow of information, and take over the world that way. Just imagine it. brain could control the world from the shadows rather than be the dictator. That is the mark of a real villain. Right, Google? And the songs were okay. And except for that one really out of taste scene, they were pretty standard for Animaniacs, which is much more exceptional than most other shows that involve music. The talents of Yakko, Wacko, and Dot in chorus can never, ever be underestimated. A solid start, but I hope for improvement in later episodes. So with that being said, we're the Cartoon Gentlemen, and we're just getting started.
Yeah. What's with all the bags?
Ah, good morning, Master Gent.
Rhino, what's going on here?
Oh, I got some great news for you.
We're getting a dog?
What? No.
Are we getting a cat?
No.
Are we getting a cat dog?
That's not even a... No. Guess what? We're finally going out to do your great adventure plan.
Squeeze me?
That's right. I just cleared it with your parents and they approve. You're going to be a star just as big as your siblings are. Or perhaps even bigger than what your siblings are. You're going to get out there and run a show all on your own. And the best part, it'll be all for you and not your siblings, not your name, not for anyone. You will be the star, young gentlemen.
Gent, what are you doing here so early?
You want a job?